Okay, good evening. You are all welcome. Please, can you see my voice, and can you also hear me at the same time? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good evening. Please, can you hear me and can you also see the board? Okay, what about the board? I hope the board is also clear. Okay. So, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, in our today's lecture, we are actually going to look at the general revision on biochemistry. General revision. So you know that actually I have been sending you videos to watch. So we are going to look at all those videos and revise them. So now the first question that I'm now going to ask you is that please, where did you have problem in this course so far based on the videos you have watched? Where did you have problem? Where did you have problem? Yes, where do you have problem? This is general vision. So where did you have problem? Yes, I'm asking you, please tell me where did you have problem so that at least we can start something on time. Okay, so if you don't know where you have problem, so let me start by asking, um, how many blood groups do we have? How many blood groups do we have? Blood groups. That is my first question. How many blood groups do we have? Mention them. How many blood groups do we have? Okay. So mention them. We have blood group what? We have blood group what? We have blood group A, blood group B, blood group C, and then blood group D. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to watch my video on glycoproteins. Glycoproteins. So you know that actually there are some carbohydrates that are present on the surface of these blood groups. So I want you to tell me which sugar do we have in blood group A, and which one do we have in blood group B, and then which one do we have? Sorry, blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB, and then blood group O. So I want to know what are the sugars that are present on the surface of blood group A, and that of blood group B, and that of the blood group AB, and then O. So I'm listening. Please tell me. Yes. Okay, blood group A is N-acetyl galactosamine. N-acetyl galactosamine. Yes, I agree. Then B is galactose. Yes, galactose. And then which one for blood group AB? Yes, for blood group AB, which one? Which one do you have for blood group AB? Yeah. For blood group AB, it has both N-acetyl galactosamine, and galactose. And then, of course, blood group O has nil. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are all correct. So, these are actually the sugars that are found on the surface of blood group. And we have blood group A. So, for blood group A, please, I'm coming 1 minute. So I just want to tell you something which is very important. Biochemistry is everywhere. There is no way you are going to study biochemistry, or there is no way that you are going to study any course in life sciences without, or in medical science, without understanding the concept of biochemistry. So even from blood groups or the different blood groups that we have, biochemistry is there. So the major difference that actually make one blood glucose one blood groups differ from one another is the sugars that are found on the surface of the red blood cell. So therefore, sometimes they ask this kind of questions in the exam. So blood group A has N-acetyl galactosamine, while blood group B has galactose. The AB has both N-acetyl galactosamine and galactose, and then for the blood group O is nil. So that is why blood group O is nil. That is why it is considered as a universal donor. So even in terms of the antigenic reactions that occur as a result of blood transfusion from one individual to another is because of these sugars. Because remember, the antigens are glycoproteins. Antigens and antibodies, they are all glycoproteins, and they have their own specific sugars that are found on the surface of the antigen and also the surface of the red blood cells. So that is why there is mismatching. So these are the different types of blood groups that we have. So then the next thing, after discussing about the blood groups, the next thing that we are going to discuss is carbohydrate. What is carbohydrate? So I think from the videos that I sent to you, I told you that carbohydrate is defined as a polyhydroxyaldehyde or polyhydroxyketones or any compound that produce such on hydrolysis. So carbohydrate is defined as a polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketones, or you can call it polyhydroxyaldehyde or polyhydroxyketones. Polyhydroxy, polyhydroxy, or any compound that produce such on hydrolysis. So that is what we call carbohydrate. So the major functional group that are found in carbohydrate is ketone and aldehyde. And of course, very importantly, one thing that I want you to understand is that in carbohydrates we have two major functional groups. The major functional group in carbohydrate. So the major functional groups that are found in carbohydrate, of course, we have number one, we have ketones, and then number two, we have aldehydes. So what is the major difference between aldehyde and ketones? These aldehydes and ketones, they are generally called carbonyl compound. They are called carbonyl compounds. And what are carbonyl compounds? Carbonyl compounds are compounds that have carbon to oxygen double bond, and that is what you call carbonyl compounds. So they are compounds that have carbon to oxygen double bond. So both ketones and aldehydes, we call them carbonyl compounds. So you shouldn't forget about this. So carbonyl compounds are compounds that have carbon to oxygen double bond. And then, so what is the difference between ketones and aldehydes? Ketones, they generally have carbon to oxygen double bond, and then they have two different R group. The R group here means alkyl group. The R group here means what? Alkyl group. And of course, alkyl group in organic chemistry is a compound, or is a hydrocarbon that has a general formula of CnH2n plus 1. So this is the general formula for alkyl group. So for the for the ketones, between carbon to oxygen double bond, the carbon is bonded with two different alkyl group. So that is what you call ketones. So this is ketones. So what is the difference between ketones and aldehydes? That is what we want to demonstrate. So in the case of aldehydes, they have also carbon to oxygen double bond with one R side change and the free hydrogen attached to it. So look at it. You see the differences? The carbonyl compound contain two different alkyl groups, while in the case of aldehydes, the carbonyl compound contain or is attached with one free hydrogen atoms. So now, do you understand the difference between ketones and aldehydes? Do you understand, before you proceed, the difference between ketones and aldehydes? So ketones, they have carbon to oxygen double bond, which is called carbonyl compound. Then the carbonyl carbon contain two different alkyl groups attached to it. But in the case of aldehyde, the carbonyl carbon has free hydrogen. So that is the difference between the aldehydes and ketones. So the next thing after the difference between ketones and aldehydes is that what are the different types of carbohydrates? Okay, so I will come again. You see, in the case of aldehydes, this is a carbonyl carbon. So the carbonyl carbon is attached with one free hydrogen atoms. Look at it. It's attached with one free hydrogen atoms. But in the case of ketones, this is ketones, the carbonyl carbon is attached with two different alkyl group. So this R means alkyl group, as we can see from here, it means alkyl group. So the carbonyl carbon in the case of aldehyde, it has two different alkyl group attached to the carbonyl carbon. So that is why that is the major difference between ketone and the aldehyde. And based on the videos that you watch, who can give me examples of a monosaccharide that has a ketone functional group? Which of the sugar that has a ketone functional group? Yes, answer. I'm waiting for your answer. Which of the sugar contain ketone ketone functional group? The monosaccharide is the. Yes, I'm waiting for your answer. So does that mean all the videos that I'm sending you, you are not watching? You are not watching the videos that I'm sending to you? Okay, excellent, Queen. So for ketones examples of sugar that has ketone functional group, we have fructose. We have fructose. Then what is the examples of the sugar that contains aldehyde functional group? The sugar that contains aldehyde functional group. Excellent is glucose. So this is glucose. So now who can tell me before you move? So we now define carbohydrate, that a carbohydrate is a polyhydroxyaldehyde or polyhydroxyketones. So now the question is that what is the difference? Okay, what are the functions of carbohydrate in the body? What are the functions of carbohydrates in the body? What are the functions of carbohydrate in the body? Excellent. It provides energy in the body. It provides energy. Excellent. It provides energy in the body. But now the question is that, is it only carbohydrate that produce energy in the body? Is it only carbohydrate that is or that produce energy in the body? Okay. So apart from carbohydrate, you said no. Lipid also provide energy to the body. Excellent. So apart from carbohydrates, the other class of foods, proteins, lipids, they also produce energy in the body. In fact, the amount of energy produced by carbohydrate is for 1 kilogram of carbohydrate, 1 kilogram of carbohydrate produce about 4 calories. It produces about 4 calories of energy. That is 1 kilogram of carbohydrate, which is the same thing as 17 kilojoule, 17 kilojoule per mole. And also at the same time, 1 kilogram of protein produce equal amount of energy with that of the carbohydrate, which is also the same thing as 4 kilocal. But lipids, 1 kg of lipid produce 9 kilocal. So it means that 9 kilocal. So it means that carbohydrate produce even less energy than the lipid. So lipid produce more energy than the carbohydrate itself. But we are coming to that too. So apart from proteins, apart from carbohydrates, proteins and lipid produce energy. So that is what I want you to understand. So as you can see, Constantialog and Abubakar Ishak Lawal and Ivera, they are all members to the YouTube channel. So I encourage you to try as much as possible to register with the YouTube channel, although it is a choice. But remember, there are video for other courses. And actually, truly speaking, I realized that this of your sets, you are not actually paying attention to most of our classes. Sometimes even if I send you videos, you don't watch. Now look at the number of the student that just joined the class. It is seriously unfortunate. And the major problem is that you will not realize some of these mistakes until when it is late. This course that you are doing biochemistry is very bulky. In fact, not only biochemistry, most of the courses that you are doing are very bulky. So it is better you take your time to start reading on time. Don't say that you will be reading when you have examination. It is very wrong. It is very wrong to do that. So apart from the energy generation in the body, what are the other functions of carbohydrate? Excellent. Khadija Ahmad said that it is function in cellular recognition and communication. It is important in recognition, recognition and communication. So what is cellular recognition and communication? So generally, ladies and gentlemen, on the surface of cell, there is what we call a ligand and a receptor. So carbohydrates communicate or help in the communication of one cell to another. Like for example, how body differentiate and non-self cells in the body. Like for example, immune system in our body take care of a cancer cell. So if there is a cancer cell, our immune system can recognize them and eliminate them. That is number one. Second, during fertilization, how sperm cells recognize an egg cells that okay, an egg cells, how an egg cells recognize that this is this is yes, how a sperm cells can recognize that this is an egg cell. Let me recognize it. It's through cellular recognition and communication. How our immune cells recognize and communicate to other cells that this is a bacterial cells is through cellular communication and recognition. How our body recognize this is a viral cells. How our body recognize that this is a viral cells and communicate with other immune cells or with immune cells in the body to eliminate those foreign organisms or those microorganisms that can cause disease in our body. It is through cellular recognition and communication. So that is what I want you to. It is very important, ladies and gentlemen, to understand that our cells communicate. Our cells recognize self and non-self cells. And this cellular recognition is actually done by what? By a glycoproteins on the surface of the cell. Glycoproteins. So glycoproteins, and examples of this. So glycoproteins, of course, when you said glyco, it means what? When you said glyco means sugar. So proteins, glycoproteins means a combined form of glycogen and proteins together. So that is what they call glycoprotein. So it is actually this sugar or this carbohydrate in combination of proteins on the surface of the cells that help cells to recognize one another and also communicate with one another. Liz, do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand before we proceed? Do you understand? Okay. So what other excellent? So what is another functions of carbohydrate apart from production or producing energy in the body and then cellular recognition and communication? What other functions do we have? What other functions of carbohydrate do we have? You mentioned two. It provides energy in the body. It helps in cellular recognition and communication. Please talk now. We have actually, I sent you videos on this already. Yes, I'm waiting for you. What is the other functions of carbohydrate? You see, this class is not actually for me to teach you because I already sent you the videos. This one is just for us to have a general recap of the videos that you watched. No, we have already done that. Of course, if you talk about glycogen, it is still under energy. No, I think, okay, is it Frisker? Frisker if you can actually just say it provide a structural support, I think I can accept that. But saying that, uh, where is my okay? Okay, number three, it provides structural support. Structural support of a cell of a cell. You see, some of you are just actually watching the videos, but you are not taking your time to understand exactly what they are doing. Look at it. Someone is writing lipogenesis. No, 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 no. You see, it provides structural support of a cell. So what does that mean? Generally, cell, like plant cell, bacterial cells, it is these carbohydrates that are used to help to maintain the structure of their cells, to maintain the integrity of their cell. Like for example now, remember, for those of you that have been attending classes and watched some of my videos during fertilization, I told you in the egg, there is one very important carbohydrate that help in maintaining the structure of the female egg. What is the name of that carbohydrate? What is the name of that carbohydrate that protect the structure of the egg? Yes, I'm waiting. What is the name of that carbohydrate? Yes, yes, I'm waiting. What is the name of the carbohydrates that provide a structural support to the female egg? Kai. Shit, shit, shit. Please, I am asking, what is the name of the carbohydrates that provide a structural support to the female egg? That is the question I'm asking. When you said chitin, that one is in the is provide the chitin. It's providing a structural support to the arthropod, that is insect. It is a protein that provides structural. Sorry, it's a carbohydrate that provides structural support in insects, generally in arthropod. I'm talking about the carbohydrate that provides structural support of the female egg. No, zona pellucida, it is like the membrane of the egg. So in the zona pellucida, what is the name of the egg? Oh, sorry, what is the name of the carbohydrate? I think I repeated this thing more than 5 times. Cellulose is in plant cell wall, not in the female egg. So cellulose provides structural support in the cell wall of plant. I think maybe I need to change the pattern of this teaching. I need to change the pattern of this teaching. Yeah. Because I realize that I'm just wasting my time. So let me just keep doing how other lecturers are doing. Yeah. Because I'm just wasting my time. I asked so many questions and nobody uh so it's only now that someone can provide answer. No problem. I think what we are going to do, let me just look at how other lecturers are doing and I will keep doing that kind of tutorial. Since this one it will not is not yielding anything. So I think we'll continue the way other lecturers are doing. That will be the best. So see you next. So we are going to stop here.